Hey guys, it's Gaming Reploid, and today we're going to be dissecting Dark Inferno's moveset. I'm going to be breaking down all of his moves, including how to block, dodge, and punish them all. All footage you will see is from my run with all pro codes turned on, so this video is not necessarily going to be about what Sora can do, like his links or his form changes, but instead we're going to focus on Dark Inferno himself. And hey, if you don't want to hear my voice explaining all of this, then shortly after uploading this, I am going to be typing out the closed captioning, so you can just turn on subtitles and enjoy it that way too. I am aware that my mic quality is not the best. Alright, let's get started. Dark Inferno only has 4 offensive moves and 3 phases during this fight. We'll call these moves, let's say, Dash, Flurry, Invisible, and Spiral. Dash is when he quickly dashes to your side for some quick slashes. Flurry is when he attacks with a flurry of sword strikes head on. Invisible is when he stabs the ground, surrounds himself with fireballs, disappears, and then the fireballs home in on you. Just a side note, I call this one invisible since it's extremely reminiscent of those Cage 1 enemies known as Invisibles. And his final attack, Spiral, is when he swings his swords in a big red circular motion. He will use these attacks differently in each phase, so let's look at each phase separately. If he attacks you with a dash attack, you'll want to block that move fast. He will slash 2 times, and that will be your chance to counter. Simple enough. When he uses his flurry move, you will want to block that attack as well. However, you will see him raise his swords at the end of his combo. This final strike will be an unblockable blow. You have 2 options here. 1. You can dodge to the side. Or 2. You can strike with a counter slash if you want to cause a little bit of damage to him. I use counter slash specifically because I want it to be quick, and more importantly, I don't want to move too far from this spot. So counter slash is better than counter kick in this scenario. Be careful of the timing here. The important thing here is you do not want to get hit. He will end his combo and be in the air for a second. Just wait patiently for him to drop down to the ground and attack as soon as he does. When he does his invisible move, do a double jump and glide away from him. There have been a few rare cases of gliding towards him and the fireball still hitting me. Also, look at the spot he is standing in when he uses this move. Use the height of your double jump to keep an eye on the exact spot. After he disappears, the fireballs will follow you and attack in 3 waves. As you are avoiding them with your gliding, head over close to that area he disappeared in. I usually look for a certain rock or shadow that he was near to help keep me focused. After dodging the 3 waves of fireballs, you can drop down, but be careful as sometimes the 3rd wave is still flying around underneath you. Now stand next to that spot and he will reappear and be vulnerable for attack. His final move, Spiral, is one you definitely don't want to be hit with. This move will stun you and leave you open for more attacks. If you would like to have stun protection, you can feel free to use the Nano Gear Keyblade, which has that ability by default. Depending how close you are standing to him, there are 2 ways to avoid getting hit and punishing him. If you are very close to him, just wait for a bit as he charges his attack, and jump before he swings it. After he swings, he'll be vulnerable to attack. If you're far away, you can aim with your shot lock and get ready to air step through the attack to get him. Be careful here. If you air step too early, you'll still get hit by the blades. And if you air step too late, you might miss your opportunity and he can get ready for his next attack. I think a good way to tell is to look at the left of the red line you see before you. When you see that first slash going by, that's a good time to air step in and attack. Now, something to keep in mind about attacking. With my current abilities shown here, and I have no combo or air combo plus abilities active, and I only have last charge as my finisher, this is what I experienced every time. If you're attacking on the ground, you'll be able to get 2 full combo finishes on him before he raises his guard. That is your cue to stop attacking. If you attack now, he'll counter with 2 normal slashes and an unblockable slash. So best to just avoid attacking him for a second. If I attack him in the air, however, I can get 2 combo finishers as well as 2 more attacks. But after that second attack, he will raise his guard. Now, I have a tip here for anyone else doing a pro code run. As you know, you can't heal with cure or links or items, but you can gain a small amount of HP using this neat trick. So whenever you're using the Grand Chef Keyblade as well as the accessory Wisdom Ring, you will have the Wizard's Ruse ability, which will have a small chance of giving you a small amount of HP with every spell you cast. So when Dark Inferno is blocking, this is the perfect opportunity to switch Keyblades, spam some Thundagas, and then switch back. Okay, pro code tip over, back to Dark Inferno. So we've pretty much covered phase 1. Let's move on to phase 2, which is when he starts to glow purple. This time, if he starts with a dash attack, still block, but after his initial 2 slashes, block again as he quickly snaps another couple of slashes at you. Then he'll raise his swords for an unblockable attack, dodge this attack. Then he'll charge up his spiral attack. Since you are up close, as I stated before, just jump, wait for him to slash, and then attack. So that's block, block, dodge, jump, attack. That might sound like a lot to remember, but with practice, this will all become muscle memory in no time. Next up we have his flurry. This will start the same as Phase 1's version. Just block all the swipes and get ready to dodge or counter slash his final blow. The difference now, however, is that after his final blow, he will dodge midair, then swipe in with a dash attack. The thing to be careful here is to not block too soon. An early mistake I made a lot was blocking and dodging his flurry perfectly, knowing the dash was coming and hitting the block button, but forgetting about his quick midair dodge, which would offset the timing of his attack, and he would usually punish me for blocking too soon. This dash attack, since it was at the end of his flurry combo, is thankfully only 2 slashes, so like in Phase 1, just block those and proceed to counterattack. His invisible and spiral attacks, thankfully, remain the same in Phase 2 as they were in Phase 1. No changes here. Now the hard part. Phase 3. Dark Inferno will begin to glow red. His dash attack is mostly unchanged from Phase 2. You will still block quickly a couple of times as he slashes a few times. Dodge the unblockable strike, then jump when he finishes off with a spiral attack. Punish as usual. A quick note here for pro code users. I said earlier that you could spam multiple Thundagas while he's blocking. In Phases 1 and 2, I would sometimes empty my whole MP bar, but in Phase 3, I would cast only 1, maybe 2, then switch back to my main Keyblade. He doesn't seem to stagger as easily in Phase 3, and he'll be quick to jump into his next attack, so casting multiple Thundagas may just leave you open to take much more damage than you would have possibly healed with Wizard's Ruse in the first place. So just a single Thundaga and move on might be your best bet here. His flurry attack is much more vicious this time. It will start as normal, so block the initial slashes, but instead of using an unblockable attack at the quote-unquote end, he will just begin another flurry of slashes, so block those immediately. Then he pauses for a second as his swords glow red. You want to pause for a moment before blocking his third flurry of slashes. If you block too early, you're going to get hit. He will end his third flurry as he always does, with an unblockable attack. Feel free to dodge or air dodge out of the way. I never learned how to punish this move myself, but just being able to survive and block it all was good enough for me as I waited for another attack to provide an opportunity that I needed. Now his invisible attack has changed for Phase 3. While Phases 1 and 2 had me jumping as soon as he started the attack, this time you want to run away. Don't dodge or glide, just walk in the opposite direction. He will summon the fireballs and they will behave the same way as usual. The difference this time is that he will no longer disappear. Now I've seen 3 variations here, but I believe your distance from him will dictate what he does next. Since we're walking away from him, he will do a dash attack. In this scenario, he will only start with 2 slashes that you can block. This is why I mentioned about not dodge rolling away earlier. You don't want to be mid-dodge when he attacks and we mistime our block here. Now after those 2 slashes, he will use his unblockable slash. Do not dodge roll here. Instead, jump and then at the top of Sora's height, double jump. The timing felt like any other normal double jump to me, but he always seemed to miss me with this double jump. Then, glide away from him. He'll usually wait a bit while you dodge the fireballs. Then, as you land, it seems to me he usually followed up with his flurry combo that I mentioned earlier. If I'm going off of memory here, I think there was one time he used a spiral attack instead of the flurry combo. Now, another thing I've seen him do with his invisible attack, which I assume happens when you're near him, is that after summoning the fireballs, he'll go into his spiral attack. But because the fireballs are about to home in on us, it's best to glide away. Another thing I've seen very rarely is that he will do the invisible move and actually disappear like he does during the first 2 phases. Since I always like to keep my distance though, he seemed to always go for the dash attack during invisible. For me at least. And his final move to cover is if he just does a spiral attack. And in this case, nothing seemed to be different to me. It could still be punished the same way. However, it did feel like the timing had to be more strict in Phase 3. There have been times where I air stepped into a spiral and started to attack, and most times I would be successful. But sometimes as I was attacking, he would just start slashing at me, as if the spiral was just the start for a longer combo. And maybe in those cases I just air stepped too late and missed the window of opportunity. And that's pretty much it. I will admit I have seen some oddities when I failed to block or dodge correctly. For example, if I got hit during his dash attack in Phase 3, he would follow up with another dash attack and then a flurry midair. But this flurry wasn't 3 flurries long, but just a single flurry, ending in the unblockable attack. But if you practice blocking and dodging all of his moves as I've shown here, you should be able to beat him without having to worry about those oddities very often. And that's the end of my video. This fight gave me so much grief. I think I just need to make this video once I finally beat him because, I don't know, it would be therapeutic or something. I gained all this knowledge on his moves and just had to use it somehow. When I looked for a video like this online, I saw videos that claimed to be an easy way to beat him or something like that, which involved using link summons or certain Keyblade transformations or something else I just couldn't use in my Pro Code run. Maybe I didn't look hard enough, and maybe there are other videos out there like this one, but whatever. Hopefully this video helps someone out there. If you made it this far, be sure to give this video a like and maybe comment any thoughts you had about the video. This is my first time making a video like this, so any constructive criticism could be helpful if I ever make another one like it. If you want to see the full video where I beat him with all the pro codes on, without any edits, using these very tips, I'll put a link in the description down below. And if I can figure out how end cards on YouTube work, then I'll try and throw it up on the screen as well. But anyways, thanks for watching.